what exactly is a 360 degree by 180 degree panorama? Yeah, we're going around 360 degrees like this and taking everything, but we're also capturing the ground underneath us and the sky above us. It's a complete immersive view of the environment around you. I would recommend using manual mode. That ensures that shutter speed, aperture, white balance, focusing point, ISO are all the same with every single picture you exact same settings no matter what. Now there's two ways we can take handheld, just like how I showed you where you go around like this taking the pictures. Sometimes it does not look very good and it'll mess up. Panoramic tripod head eliminates error, guaranteed perfect panorama. For the first example, let's just do it handheld right here. I would highly recommend using small JPEGs for your first time. It'll take much less time and it's going to use less memory. 640th of a second at f5.6, ISO 200. And the white balance is on cloudy. I'm going to automatically focus on an area over here. Now I'm going to switch to manual focus, so the focus is going to be consistent throughout the entire panorama. And on the exposure I'm using, the ground is very dark right now, but the sky, I'm also capturing the highlights in the sky. So that tree is basically a reference point of where I should start and stop, and then move up the camera and then go to the next row. Alright, here's all the pictures we took, all 36 of them. I didn't do an entire 360 degree, there's nothing detailed in the sky there, it's just a blank white space. If there was something more, I would tilt my camera up and do another row and take one last picture directly upward. I also forgot to take a picture aiming directly at the ground. Sometimes these pictures don't come out because you're taking them handheld, as you would just step out of the frame and then reach your arm out and then take a picture of the ground. Now we're going to load them up into the program called Hugin, free open source program that you can download from the internet. Select all my pictures here. File, Preferences, Control Point Detectors have Auto Pano Sift C as the default. Click the button that says Align. So just let this move on. Then it might give you this message here. It's basically telling you that Hugin could not stitch one or more groups of images together. There's one group of images needs to have some control points in this group. 5 and 6. Those two images need to be connected. Now let's select image 5 and image 6. When we go to image 4 and 5, it's added some control points here, similar in one photograph that you can see in the other photograph, that you need to have about a 20% overlap for each picture that you take. But Hugin cannot always automatically detect the points. And here we just have to fix about 2 or 3 pictures, image 5 and image 6. So we're going to click the control points tab. Alright, so I just found a spot here. It's the same piece of grass on this picture that's right here. Just go down here and click the add button. So there's 3 control points. I would maybe do 4 if you have the time. Any one of these images in this group right here needs to be connected to any of these images over here. 8 would probably, I could probably easily connect that to image 7. I could also do image 0 to image 1, and I think that's what I'm going to do. And 1 right over here, same spot. Let's click Align and it'll realign it. Alright, so right after you click the Align button and it's done finishing its thing, you want to make sure that this crop tab is not displaying any lines. But in order to fix that, all you have to do is make left 0 and make top 0. And then for the right and the bottom fields, just max it out. So type in like 99999 or something, and then do the same for that one. And that will just completely get rid of those crop marks, and when you go to stitch your panorama, it'll be a full panorama, which is pretty important. Then we would click the Move and Drag tab. Next, if you wanted to make it a stereographic planet, what you would do is click this Projection tab right here, and click the drop-down box, and then select Stereographic. Then we would click the Move and Drag tab, zoom in a little bit using a slider, and then simply click and hold on the picture to reposition it. And you want to get the center point of this thing right where you took the picture. So if you wanted to make a tunnel, you can make a tunnel like that, or you could reposition it to get it completely centered just like that, and there is your tunnel. Now if you wanted to make a planet, all you have to do is click and drag again and just invert that sucker, and there's your planet. So again, you would go to the projection tab, click stereographic, click the move and drag tab, zoom in, and then reposition the picture. And there you go. But for right now, let's stick to the equirectangular and zoom out all the way. But let's just click straighten, that little button straighten. It'll just do it automatically. Usually what I do is just click, I'm going to optimize everything, and I'll click optimize now. It'll do its little thing. There's just blackness, empty blackness on the top and bottom of this picture. That's because I stopped taking pictures when the horizon was on the bottom of the camera frame. So you have all that there. Now we're going to click Stitch Now, the button right there. And it's going to ask you where you want to save your panorama. I'm just going to save it right here. It's going to do its thing, and after it's done, you can go into that folder where you saved it and take a look at it. And it's looking pretty good. The tree is it disappears on the bottom. Remember, if you take it handheld, there's a large margin for error. So I'm just going to right click on this, open with Photoshop. Now I'm going to make it into a stereographic plugin called Flexify 2. The input should be on equirectangular, and the output, most likely you want it on stereographic. Now the latitude is the only one that you're probably going to want to mess with. If you put it to +90, you'll get a perfect circle. And if you move it to -90, you get a perfect planet picture. So I'm going to make this a tunnel just like this. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to let it do its thing. Alright, there it is. So what about this big black hole here? The quick selection tool, and then let's expand this selection just by about 10 pixels to make sure that we have it completely. To select, modify, expand. I don't know, 20 pixels. Click OK. Push Shift Backspace. Content Aware option is checked. Click OK, and it will then fill in that blank blackness with nice whiteness. So that's how you take a handheld panorama. Does work pretty good when you're in a big open environment. Has objects very close to the camera, for instance like a pillar or a person. Probably won't work out very well when you're hand holding the picture. Alright, there's still one more thing I want to do to this picture. The foreground a little bit brighter. Do is just duplicate the layer mask on that layer, and then click on the blending modes drop down box and click screen. And bam, everything is brighter. But there's kind of a problem here. The sky is brighter too. Grab a black brush and just paint in that area on my layer mask here. Just like that. And it's done. And that's it. You can go to layer, flatten image, and make other adjustments to it if you want to. You could grab the rectangular marquee tool, hold down the shift key, and drag and drop from the top to bottom to make a perfect square if you wanted to. And then click image, crop. So that's how you do a handheld panorama.